Good morning, children. Today we are going to begin our class with lesson number 1, King Vikramaditya from the Panorama textbook. Before we start, I would like to read a story of another king, so listen to it very carefully. The name of the story is The Right Person. Once there was a wise king. He had two sons. He appointed eminent scholars to teach them all the arts. After a few years of teaching, the king fell ill. He wanted to select an heir to his kingdom. He wanted to test his son's abilities. He called both of them and gave a room to each of them. He said, "You must fill this room completely with anything you wish. It can be anything. No space should be left empty. You should neither seek the advice from anyone." The next day, the king visited the elder son's room. The room was completely filled with hay. The king sighed at the foolishness of the elder son. Then he went to the younger son's room, but it was kept closed. The king knocked at the door of the room. The second son asked his father to get in and close the door again. There was darkness everywhere, and the king shouted at his second son angrily. The second son lighted a candle and said, "I have filled this room with light." Now the king felt very happy and hugged his son proudly. He understood that the younger son would be the right person to rule the kingdom after him. We learn that one should use his thoughts wisely. The second son used a candle to light the room. He dispelled the darkness with light. He was chosen to succeed to the throne. I hope you enjoyed listening to the story. Let us begin with the lesson. I will first read the lesson and then we will go for the explanation. Before we start the lesson, I would like to give you some information about King Vikramaditya. King Vikramaditya was a historical Parmar king from around the 1st century BCE. He is a legendary character. He resembles Chandragupta II. Now let's begin with the lesson. Vikramaditya, the ruler of Ujjain. King Vikramaditya was known for his justice and kindness. Even the gods sought his help in settling issues. No one was unhappy in his kingdom. His people loved him and were proud of him. Vikramaditya was a legendary king of Ujjain from ancient India. He was an ideal king, known for his generosity, courage, and patronage to scholars. The name of the king means the son of valor. Vikrama meaning valor and Aditya meaning sun. Have you not come across the Vikram Betal stories? The fascinating tales about the great King Vikramaditya and Betal the Empire? Also, famous are the 32 tales of the throne. The story goes that a village boy used to give good judgment on disputes when he sat on a mound of earth. The word about his wisdom spread and reached the ears of the king Bhoja. The king's men dug the mound and found the throne of Vikramaditya. The throne was supported by 32 statues of Apsaras. When King Bhoja sat on the throne, each of the Apsaras came alive and told him stories about the qualities of a just and good king. Once, Vikramaditya decided to build a palace on the riverbank. He ordered his ministers to survey the site and start the work. The laborers were put to work, and in a few days the palace was ready. Before bringing the king for inspection of the palace, the minister decided to take a final look. "Splendid!" the minister exclaimed, looking at the palace. Then, suddenly his eyes fell on something and he shouted, "What is that? I did not see that before." All the laborers and the soldiers turned around. There was a hut just a little distance away from the palace gate. So children, we have read the story. Now let's begin with the explanation. King Vikramaditya was known for his justice and kindness. He was a just king, a king who was fair and warm-hearted. Even the gods came to him to seek his help, to solve their problems. Everyone was happy in his kingdom. All the people loved him and were proud of him. He was a known king of Ujjain from ancient India. He was a perfect and ideal king who was known for his generosity, for his courage, for his patronage. Now, what do you mean by courage? Courage means he had no fear of anybody. He was fearless. He had a will to give money and time. He used to support the scholars. The name of the king spread everywhere. The son of valor, meaning Vikrama. Vikrama means the quality of a hero, and Aditya meaning sun. You have come across Vikram Betal stories, the interesting tales of great Vikram Betal, the vampire. There are stories of the 32 tales of the throne, where a village boy used to give good judgment on disputes when he sat on a mound of earth. Now, judgment means opinion, and mound means a hill on which he used to sit and give his judgment. Wisdom means accumulated knowledge, and his judgment reached the ears of King Bhoja. The king's men dug the mound and found the throne of Vikramaditya. This throne was brought into the king's palace. When the king sat on the throne, each of the apsaras came live and told him stories about the qualities of the just and good king. Throne means the seat on which a king sits. Apsaras are the fairies. Vikramaditya decided to build a palace on the riverbank. He ordered his ministers to survey the site and start the work. The laborers were put to work, and a few days later the palace was ready. Before bringing the king for inspection, the minister came to examine the spot and decided to take a final look. When he came to examine the spot, he saw a hut of an old lady. The hut was affecting the beauty of the palace. So he turned to his ministers and shouted, "What is this? How can this hut be over here at the palace gate? It is spoiling the beauty of the palace." So children, now let's go towards the grammar. King Vikramaditya, as the name suggests, is the proper noun. Justice and kindness are the two nouns describing the king. Issues are the problems which the people used to come with, and the king used to solve the problems. The sentence, his people loved him. The tense is past tense. Sought means seek. Settle means to solve. Legendary means known. The word class of legendary is adjective. Ujjain is a proper noun, name of a place. He was an ideal, perfect king. The tense is past tense. Now, children, let's make a sentence with throne. The king sat on his throne. Let's make another sentence with ordered. The ministers ordered to survey the site. Who is a minister? Minister is a person who is appointed to look after the affairs of the government. Let's go for some singular and plural noun. King, kings. God, gods. Scholar, scholars. Tale, tales. Dispute, disputes. Minister, ministers. Laborer, laborers. Hut, huts. Soldier, soldiers. Let's go for the antonyms. The first one, justice, injustice. Unhappy, happy. Good, bad. King, queen. Boy, girl. There is a phrase in this part. Let's go for the phrase. The phrase is to take a final look. The meaning of the phrase is check out for the last time. Let's frame a sentence. You should take a final look at your presentation before the speech. Let's make a sentence with splendid. Rahul thought this was a splendid story. If you see the last concluding paragraph. Splendid, the minister exclaimed, looking at the palace. This is an exclamatory sentence. The sentence following later is, what is that? I did not see that before. This is an interrogative sentence. Okay children, we will stop here today with part 1 and continue our part 2 in the next lecture. I hope you enjoyed this part of the lesson. Let's answer some questions of the following comprehension in your notebook and keep it completed. Thank you.